Kristen Powers. This is my first full year at the Sycamore School. I teach middle school math and also middle school experience. We shy away from anything that would be considered busy work. We don't feel that that adequately challenges students to reach higher levels of understanding. And typically, you're not going to see a whole lot of rigor on just kind of one and done assignments. We want students to be looking at the bigger picture. We want them to take a more holistic approach to a concept or a topic or a skill. So what we're really focused on with our students here at the Sycamore School is ensuring that projects are kind of long lasting, that great things are not built in a day, and to really understand deeply and have that great knowledge about a specific topic or content area. It takes time, and we work on projects for days and weeks or even months at a time in order to develop our understanding and feel like we can speak deeply on a specific topic. Tyler is one of the students in the MS1 cohort, and he really is a natural with presentations. Tyler loves to be in front of the camera, he loves to present, and he really showcased his talents for this with the MS1 Let's Take a Walk presentation.
Hi, I'm Tyler. I'm in 5th grade and this is my first year. So my walkabout project was a walkabout, which is basically a map to walk with little info snippets about different places. Like, I mapped my neighborhood, so I had little snippets of places like my house, which is over 100 years old, and the fairgrounds for a fair, which I had like 2 adrenaline-inducing rides that I liked.
For first semester, our 5-6 cohort, our MS1 cohort, completed an experience called Let's Take a Walk, which involved ecology and science and art and some history and some social studies and some writing and even poetry. And it ended in a culminating project of the students creating a walkabout map of a specific area here in the greater DMV. They included important cultural landmarks, some things that they like in particular, like maybe a restaurant that they liked, or some kids included a trampoline park that they liked. So they all included elements that they felt were important, because as we discussed in class, a walkabout map is where you would show off kind of the most important aspects of your neighborhood if a visiting dignitary were to come to town. So our MS1 cohort worked diligently for about 5 or 6 weeks to finish up their walkabout maps.
I enjoyed doing it. I think if it was shorter, I couldn't have gotten much detail out, which is really important. So I think having a little longer period, I don't know if I could have made it better, but I think that was a pretty good amount of time to finish it.
Tyler's piece really evolved. He was not quite sure originally what neighborhood he wanted to do. He finally settled on his own personal neighborhood here in Arlington. So his project really evolved from him kind of struggling at first to narrow down his focus of what he wanted to work on. And then he really dove deep and he researched different elements in different places to ensure he was including all the necessary information. For example, in his own home, he didn't know all the history behind his home, and he was able to research it. For the local schools nearby, he realized, wow, these have been around for quite a long time. And also the restaurants in his area that have become like institutions in the neighborhood.
I had to color in the background, color everything, type everything, cut everything out. And I sort of messed up the houses, so I had to cut out strips of paper and put those over, which was really hard. So it took a lot of work having to write out the whole map, drawing every street, really.
The key this year is definitely flexibility. So for our cohort, we ended up going virtual over the winter due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And the MS1 students, I was incredibly proud of how well they worked even when they were virtual. Madeline and I, who co-teaches the class with me, would meet with the students in breakout rooms to work on their project with them and see how they were doing, offer them some advice, some feedback, and just kind of check in with them, get a status update on how they were doing. So while it wasn't originally what we had planned, and our showcase wasn't originally what we had planned, It went really well, and every student was able to present their work on Zoom so that their parents and other family members and friends could enjoy and support them.
My name is Amy. I'm in grade 6.
Hi, so I'm John. Amy is in my advisory, and she is one of our students in the MS2 experience. So what was our goal with this culminating project? We wanted the students to synthesize everything that they had been studying throughout the term. So looking at the different parts of an ecosystem, the flora and the fauna, and kind of the living and the non-living parts that make up this ecosystem.
Snowy fox is like a pure white mutation, specifically to be able to camouflage easier, and it has rounded ears to help it hide from the wind, and it's specially made for the Arctic specifically. Steps in planning, we had a sheet where we wrote down questions we wanted to answer, and so then after we wrote down the questions, we started finding the answers and finding the things we were going to talk about. Yes, especially when it's something you're passionate and interested about. You have a lot more time and you can actually be proud of what you do.
I would say, while it's certainly a difficult task, it's also very difficult for high school or college students. So this is a difficult task for everybody. First part of the project, when it was kind of the beginning research and then the first few drafts, it was much more listing of here are different animals in the Arctic, or here are different plants in the Arctic, here are different environments in the Arctic. And with feedback and discussions with her teachers and her peers, Amy arrived at a final product that was much more a almost synthesis and kind of personalization and interpretation of all of the research that she had done. So creating a much more sophisticated presentation from her first draft.
All feedback, in my opinion, is good feedback because it helps you improve, as long as it's not straight up mean.
He was very eager to ask for feedback and always very responsive to it, both from teachers and peers. So this is a skill like any other, and Amy succeeded admirably in that.
Teachers are really friendly and you don't have to stress about calling them by their last name. The teachers are very positive and normally give positive feedback and will tell you if there's something wrong with your project and needs fixing. They're all very polite about it as well, so they're not like, this is wrong, redo it. It helps because most schools are a lot more stressful and force you to move along with the class, but the Sycamore focuses specifically on you.
What surprised me about the project was how creative the students got and kind of how in-depth some of them got into their research and kind of all the personalizations that they got to do.
Owls specifically have special flight feathers so that they don't make a sound when flying, so that they can hunt their prey easier. Don't stress about it. Once you get it over, it's really rewarding.